I'm Monika Czerveniak here with Fearless Cooking. The holiday season is upon us, and today we're going to make a very simple stuffing. A stuffing which is good for vegetarians, and it can also be for vegans. If you leave one or two things out, then we're going to go through that. But it's a beautiful, simple stuffing that will accommodate our dish that I suggest. If you're not into turkeys this year, or I should say one whole big gigantic turkey to cook, and there's only a small part of your family showing up this year, then I have just a dish for you, and that is turkey scaloppini saltimbocca, my style. So first we're starting off with our ingredients. We have onions. Now we're putting in the frying pan. We have celery. Celery is always good to start your stuffing. And some mushrooms, any kind of mushrooms that you like. Just cut them all up in the same size. And then we also, I like star anise. Star anise gives it a beautiful flavor, but we're going to just saute it a few minutes, put in a few of those beautiful stars. Also a lovely cinnamon thing. If you don't have a whole cinnamon, you can use cinnamon powder. We also have turmeric, which is rather important, and a little bit of garlic. I also have some fennel seeds that I like to saute a little bit in oil. And we're going to put some sage in here. You can use fresh sage. And I'm also going to put in some raisins. What would be really good if you would take some medjool dates. They're just beautiful. Just 5 or 6, but I don't have any in the house, so I'm just going to put this in here. So now we're just going to saute this up with a little bit of oil. It's been sauteing rather nicely. The fragrance is unbelievable, but I would suggest to you to take out your star anise. You don't really want to chew on that. So we're putting this into a bowl here. And then I got some squash here that I roasted in the oven. That's sort of binding the whole thing. You just put that in. Let's just put a little bit of oil on it and salt. I have not used any salt yet for this dish because we're still putting ingredients in. You can use any kind of squash you like. This basically binds it all, but I am going to add an egg anyway. So we have this. Now what we're going to add is nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast has an enormous amount of vitamin B, and it's really good for you. So try to add it to any of your dishes. I love it totally. We're also going to use an egg, now a whole egg. If you have vegans coming, you do not need an egg. You can put flax meal in it. 1 tablespoon of flax meal, soak it for a little while till it gets gelatinous in about 2-3 tablespoons of water, and then add it to it. I'm also going to put some nutmeg in. That gives it that wintry taste with the sage. A little bit of lemon juice. There are some breadcrumbs that I have here, homemade breadcrumbs. I will give you the link below the description box. You can use gluten-free breadcrumbs if you like. These are not gluten-free right now, but you certainly can. So we're mixing this whole thing up now. It's just a beautiful stuffing, very simple, lots of flavors, lots of vegetables. And then we're putting it in our dish, and then go into the oven. I like a little bit firmer ones, or just a bit more breadcrumbs should do the trick. And we're gonna give it a taste if we need any salt or anything. Perfect, perfect. We're just putting this in here. Get the air out of it. This is enough for 2-3 people. But of course you can make a lot more. And as I said, you can make this gluten-free, vegan-free, vegetarian, and for the meat eater. So this will go in the oven now for about 30 minutes at 300 degrees. That's all it needs. You could also add a little bit of breadcrumbs on top. That gives it a little bit of a crustiness. And that's it. We're putting this in the oven. Our stuffing is cooking, and now we're going to make the saltimbocca alla romana, my style. And you can actually use, I've used turkey here in order for you to see. And it's a turkey breast, and what you do is you just pound it out. Pound it as much as you can. can use a plastic bag. I don't ever see the reason to do that. But just pound it out like this. And this is a beautiful turkey breast that I cut these scaloppinis out from. We have here some prosciutto ham. You can use another ham. You can use Canadian ham if you like, but prosciutto makes it really delicious. And you just pound this in a little bit into your meat. As I mentioned, you can use chicken breast. You can use veal, which would be the original meat to use. But since this is our Christmas meal, and then we're taking some fresh sage. Take a little toothpick, make sure the sage sort of stays in there. We've finished them with sage and put a toothpick in between to make sure the sage stays. Here I have some arrowroot and some regular gluten-free flour, and I put a little bit of salt in there. And now what I'm going to do is just put it in the flour. And then we're going to fry this out. Takes only a few minutes. Now the reason for the flour is that it helps for the sauce to make a really nice sauce. And I like to use oil and butter when I'm pan frying meat like that. What happens is your butter doesn't burn that fast and your oil helps that. As soon as the butter is completely melted, I'm taking the sage and the prosciutto ham side and put it down. Now we're going to pan fry this out for a few minutes. It only takes like 2 to 3 minutes on each side. Once both sides have been pan fried and have gotten nicely and brown on both sides, we'll take them out and we'll finish the sauce. After we finish the sauce, we'll put the meat back in just to emulsify all the sauce around the meat. If you're thinking of doing this for Christmas or any holidays, it's just a beautiful dish. It doesn't take a lot of preparation. You can also make maybe some beautiful cauliflower mash, which would also be very nice for this. You have some lovely herbs in there. I also keep the stems of the sage, which you can use when I'm going to add it to my sauce in a minute. See, slowly the meat is starting to get, you see the outside here, but I'm not going to touch it yet. I want it to be like that. Put my sage stalks in there. Don't throw them out. Don't ever cut them off. These are wonderful to have. I'm going to use a little bit of garlic. It doesn't need much, but it's this. You can take the meat out now if you want and finish the sauce, or you can just do the sauce right in here. And I decided I'm going to do the sauce right in here. And one of the things I'm going to use is some sweetened vermouth. You can use white wine. You can use Marsala wine if you like. You can also use red wine, but white wine is much better. So I'm using a wine that is actually a sweet dessert wine to make the sauce. Oh, it smells delicious. I'm going to reduce this a little bit. Put a little bit of lemon juice in there, just to give it that little oomph. And right now I'm going to show you, I'll take this out, how to finish the sauce. See, it's reducing itself here. Gets a little bit creamier, as you see. You could strain this sauce if you wanted to, but I'm just going to put a little bit of butter in there. I like to see what has been in my sauce. I'm taking this out. Starting to get creamier here. I don't want a green sauce. I just want a regular, natural white wine martini sauce. Now I will put it back in just for a second and use this as well. Just a little taste here. Beautiful sauce. You got the flavors of the sage, the bacon, and the turkey. Just absolutely delicious. It's something different for your Christmas. Now let's have a look how we're setting it up, and our stuffing should be ready as well. Here we are. We're gonna just taking out the toothpicks. It's a good idea. Look at this beautiful sauce. Just drizzle it all over. And here we have our beautiful stuffing. Just a gorgeous meal. Simple, easy. If you should not choose to do a different traditional dish this year and you're using a whole turkey, I urge you, please do not throw away the carcass. Make a beautiful soup out of it. Never ever throw out a carcass of turkey without using it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this session, I hope to see you again. In the meantime, remember, be fearless in your kitchen. Happy holidays.